What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and it's back. More stimulus provisions from the Democrats for federal level stimulus provisions is coming back to the table in an effort, a Hail Mary, to get things done before the midterm elections and win so Democrats can maintain control. Wait till you see the headlines, you guys. I've been letting you know for quite some time this was the plan, and it looks like the rumors were true because we're seeing it all unfold just like we heard. This is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, as you guys know, I cite all the sources, put them on the screen, I link them down below. And you guys, I've just report to you what is unfolding, and we've heard for quite some time that this was the game plan. The Democrats were going to be working on the reconciliation bill, which was the Build Back Better bill that got changed to the Inflation Reduction Act. And there was the reconciliation bill that had stimulus provisions that were stripped out. And we heard Democrats, progressives say that's okay. Whatever we can pass, we're just going to pass it. Whatever we can do to get Joe Manchin on board, just pass it through. Then, after the reconciliation bill is passed, progressives said they're going to push President Joe Biden, apply the pressure for him to send out executive actions, a laundry list of them. And they said, we're going to bring back the stimulus provisions of the past. We're going to get them done around midterm elections. And even if we can't, more reconciliation will be at our disposal very soon. And they said the first of which, keep an eye out for this, after the reconciliation bill passes, then we're going to be passing $10,000 of student loan debt to be wiped out. Then after that, you're going to see more and more executive orders coming out. And if you missed my video earlier this morning, check it out as we heard of another one that's coming up. Well, you guys, take a look at the headlines. Stimulus provision executive orders could be on the way. There is a new push. Take a look at the headlines coming out, you guys. Democrats eye a Hail Mary effort to revive their child tax credit. So one of the stimulus provisions, child tax credits, we had heard Social Security increases, free childcare, free college tuition, fourth federal level stimulus checks. All of these unfulfilled promises of stimulus provisions, we're going to be seeing which ones come back. And keep in mind, we have $700 billion of federal stimulus funds from previous packages still just sitting there that we're going to be waiting to see if they tap into to revive some of these provisions. Take a look, you guys. Some Senate Democrats, they want to use Trump tax cuts as leverage to bring back checks for parents, saying, listen, you bring back the child tax credits, Republicans will work with the Trump tax cuts and go ahead and come to an agreement. Take a look, you guys. Last ditch effort to save Democrats child tax credits right around the midterm elections. Now, let me know your thoughts on this. I'm sure Republicans already know. We've heard Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell vocalize that they know the Democrats' plan, and if they do it, that he thinks it's going to work, that Democrats will maintain control in Congress, in the House, and in the Senate. Do you think they're going to be willing to do this, go along with their plans if they get something in exchange, knowing that it's going to increase the approval of Democrats? What do you think is going to happen? Let me know your thoughts. Or do you think Republicans are going to refuse to go along with anything because they want to destroy the chances of Democrats having success in the midterms? But also at their disposal, as we mentioned, for Democrats, could also be executive actions by the president, and there's $700 billion just sitting there. So they've got a couple plays that they could do right before the elections. Well, you guys, I'm going to get you caught up on these articles coming out about child tax credits coming back, and we will see what actions they take, and do not be surprised if we suddenly start hearing more information coming out about Social Security increases or free college tuition, free childcare, some of these provisions coming back. We've heard it for quite some time now throughout this year, and finally, things are starting to come to fruition right around the elections, you guys. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, before we do, also wanted to mention, I've got some other videos as well that came out over the weekend on federal level for stimulus checks. If you missed it, check it out. An update on stimulus checks for everybody, where things stand. And also, you guys, I'm keeping you up to date on state, city, and county stimulus checks, approved checks that have just come out. They're going to be added to the comprehensive list I have of over 100 different stimulus checks that I'm keeping up to date for everybody interested at www.reliefroadmap.com. On there, I compile everything into one easy to access place. You have the reassurance of knowing you have access to everything. You will have websites, phone numbers, emails, contact information, timeframes, eligibility, all right there for you guys. And like I mentioned before, I've thrown a ton of time, energy, and money into this over the past couple months. So charging a very small fee, because I know those that need it the most, they can't really afford it. So just the lowest of costs, just to recoup some of the money that I've thrown into this. It's not likely that I will, but if I don't, so be it. And also, if you can do more, there's other options. You actually can pick your price. So that's available. And if you can't, I totally understand. No worries. I will continue to do updates here on the channel that are totally free for people. And I'll link descriptions down below so you can access the news articles, you guys. So that is going on as well. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this article, get you caught up on coming back now, stimulus provisions for child tax credits and the Hail Mary by Democrats to get things done. Now, before we do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the content here on this channel, everything that I assemble for you guys, put it all together for you, do me a quick favor, smash the like button. Helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free here on the YouTube channel. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Just takes a second. I'll keep you up to speed on stimulus, Congress, the economy, everything going on. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Consider joining my second channel. More content coming on real estate, investing, businesses, everything going on to help you learn about growing wealth and personal finance at Steve Ram Finance. And with that being said, you guys, let's dive into these articles and get you caught up on the latest. All right, you guys, so link in the description below to this article that came out that says last-ditch effort to save Democrats' child tax credit. And it says, Democrats eye a Hail Mary effort to revive the child tax credits. The White House and some Senate Democrats, they're reportedly eyeing a Hail Mary effort to revive their enhanced child tax credits this year. Nichols of Axios reports that the White House has engaged Senate Democrats about the idea and may be willing to back renewing some expired corporate R&D tax credits in exchange for Republican support. So we will support those Trump tax credits if you support these child tax credits. Now, the background. The enhanced child tax credit was enhanced by Democrats in March of 2021 as a part of the American Rescue Plan. It expanded eligibility for the credit and upped the amount that families could get from $2,000 per child to $3,000 or $3,600, depending on the age of the child. Now, the credit, which included automatic monthly payments, was credited with lifting millions of children out of poverty. But the credit expired at the end of 2021 in the face of opposition from Republicans and Senator Joe Manchin. The credit was left out of the Inflation Reduction Act that Democrats had passed just last month. Now, that was one of the provisions, stimulus provisions, that were included in the package that got removed. An assortment of them got taken out, which we heard from Democrats were going to be coming back here right before the elections. And here we are, you guys. Now, what's happening right now? The 2017 Republican tax overhaul required companies to deduct their research and develop expenses over 5 years as of 2022. There's bipartisan support for revising that requirement and allowing companies to keep immediately deducting those expenses rather than spreading them out. Democrats hope that provides some leverage to renew the child tax credit. I think we should not be extending tax cuts for American corporations if we're not going to be extending tax cuts for American children, said Michael Benner, senator from Colorado. And Senator Sherrod Brown said, I cannot imagine the Senate will give big tax breaks to companies and to wealthy people without taking care of kids first. Now, some Republicans may be open to a modified version of the child tax credit. In response to the Supreme Court decision on Roe v. Wade, some Republican senators, including Senator Mitt Romney and Marco Rubio, have been floating pro-family policies, including a cheaper and less expansive version of Biden's child tax credit. We've actually seen bills proposed by the Republicans. So we've heard child tax credits actually do have bipartisan support to get through. There's just concerns about who it goes to and the amount of spending and debt that could get added to the economy. Now, the bottom line, any potential action on a tax package will have to wait until after November's election. Oh, so very interesting. They're saying that this could potentially be happening after the midterm elections. But you can see, like we heard, it's coming to the forefront right now. Manchin's energy reforms could trip up stopgap funding bills as well. Now, I let you guys know about this, that the Inflation Reduction Act that passed, Senator Joe Manchin, he passed it, but it wasn't necessarily out of the kindness of his heart. He actually made a side deal with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to get one of his provisions, some of the things that he wanted included, passed in a separate bill tied to the budget bill, forcing it to either go through or shut down the government. And a lot of Democrats are saying, Joe Manchin, you've messed up so many of our plans and our stimulus provisions. We'll shut down the government. We are not passing your provisions. Take a look. Democratic leaders say that they intend to include permitting reform for energy infrastructure projects in the stopgap funding bill that needs to pass before the end of the month. But dozens of House Democrats say they will not support the measure championed by Senator Joe Manchin. The inclusion of the reform, which would make it easier for companies to win approval for energy projects, was reportedly offered to Manchin to gain his support for the Inflation Reduction Act signed into law by President Biden last month. Manchin has pushed the bill as a part of an effort to advance the Mountain Valley Pipeline, a 304-mile gas pipeline that would run through his state, but has faced repeated delays, due in part to permitting issues. So the permitting bill, which is backed by the fossil fuel producers and interest groups such as the American Petroleum Institute, would help speed not only that specific project, but other energy projects around the country as well. So you guys, we will see, because he's pushing for that, but he's getting opposition from other fellow Democratic senators and House representatives saying, nope, we're not going to do it because Joe Manchin, you have messed up so much of our stuff. We don't owe you anything. We didn't agree to this. You and Chuck Schumer did, and we have no honor of that agreement, you guys. So, man, let me know your thoughts, you guys. And take a look at this. In a letter to Democratic leadership on Friday, 72 House Democrats asked Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer to leave the reforms out of the stopgap funding bill that lawmakers hope to pass before October 1st. So 72 of them saying, nope, we're not going to do it. So, man, you guys, let me know your thoughts. But as you can see, stimulus provisions, child tax credits coming back to the table. We're going to be seeing what happens here in this particular article. They're saying it'll likely have to pass after midterm elections. But we will see. I will keep you up to date every step of the way, you guys. But that is the latest. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget to take a quick second, smash that like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Leave your comments. Share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's free. Why not? Hit the subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth, personal finance, more content coming on that channel to help you out with real estate, investing, starting businesses, and also, you guys, www.reliefroadmap.com is live. Go there. You can access the comprehensive list of every single stimulus check in the nation. As I mentioned, been working on this for months, have poured in tons of time, energy, and money, just requesting a small little fee to access it. I know a lot of people are hurting. They can't afford it. So if you can't, that's fine. I'm going to continue to do updates here, but just trying to recoup some of the costs for what it's taken to create the relief roadmap. But you guys, I'm going to keep that up to date regularly. I'm going to be adding new programs here this week as well to that have just come out. And I'll keep you guys up to date every step of the way. But with that being said, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.